Hey, it's Lee. Today is Friday, January the 11th. Thank goodness for Friday. We're one more step closer to the weekend. I always look forward to the weekends at work. I get to spend time with my children, and also for that little bit of time, I get to take work, put it in a little box, and don't open it back up till Monday. So, what I wanted to do is I wanted to answer 4 questions. One of my viewers sent me 4 questions that she wanted to get to know about me. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna address those questions, okay? So the first question is, how did you get into the IT technical field, cybersecurity field, and what keeps you motivated? So the easy answer and simple answer is I joined the military when I was 17 years old. There was 2 jobs that were offered to me. One of the job was a truck driver. No. And the other job was in information technology. So I took the information technology route. When I got into the field, I realized there was a lot of stuff that I didn't understand. Not only just being in the Army and having to get dirty and all that stuff. And I was the prom queen in high school. I was the girly girl. And then now I'm going into a field to where I have to do low crawls and, stand formations. And then not only that, but then also I have to run Cat5 cable through the ceiling, underneath the desk, and so on and so forth. So at first it was kind of troubling for me and it was difficult for me to understand a lot of the stuff because I didn't have a technical background. At 17, the most I did was wood shopping. I did good at school. That came natural for me, but it was pretty difficult for me to grasp the concepts and then understand the hardware portion of information technology. As I progressed within the career field, it started to become second nature to me. And then I found easier ways to get things done. I'm a strong believer if you learn it one way and then you take it and you tweak it and you make it your own. Okay. So I did that. So I found out there's a lot of ways to do those stuff simpler and easier. Main philosophy is you do it right the first time. You don't have to go back and keep fixing it up. So it was kind of a curve. So then once I learned one aspect, I wanted to learn another aspect. I wanted to learn the networking side. Then I wanted to know the system administration side. So once I got into the field and then I started getting the hang of it and stuff started clicking, I started exploring the different fields. How I ended up in cybersecurity is a funny story. So I watched the movie Untraceable starring Diane Lane. And that movie was the reason why I switched over to the cybersecurity field. If you haven't seen the movie, I'll give you a little taste of it. So within the movie, there's this hacker, cyber criminal. He kidnaps people. I guess he's a kidnapper too, but he kidnaps people and he puts them in like little contraptions. And then one of them is they're in a container, a glass container. And then he uses the power of social media on his side. And people's desire to share things, that are either good or things that are bad or to comment on things. So there's many people, the more people that log on to the link, more water will go into the pool and eventually a person will drown. So I think it's terrible, but a lot of people are logging on to the link to see this. Like, hey, do you see this happening? Some people look just to see if it's true, but them logging in, put more water in there and it kills the person. So the FBI is trying to figure out who's doing this. They're trying to find the hacker. The hacker is hacking different servers and other people's devices and committing these crimes. So it was kind of hard for them to find out who it was. The hacker eventually ended up getting a disk to Diane Lane's daughter, and she installs that on the computer. The computer put a virus on the computer, and then he was also able to hack her car. And it was a very, very cool movie, I think. And watching that movie, I thought to myself, I want to do that. I want that to be me. So what motivates me is the high that I get from either stopping a perpetrator, stopping a hacker, and or preventing something from happening. I like that high, and it keeps me motivated each day. Okay. So the next question that she asked was, what does a typical day look like? So a typical day within a cybersecurity field, it involves checking emails to see if there's anything happened while you're gone. You don't want to come in and see like, oh, well, there's all these alerts. So I always want to check your emails to make sure that there aren't any alerts that you need to address immediately. You want to check Wireshark, check the network activity, and then also definitely follow up on any planned actions and milestones, the POAMs. Following up on POAMs is important, as what a POAM does is, a definition form is, let's say there's a security risk. You put actions in place and you plan steps either to remediate it or to document it, but you have to have a plan and action in order to eliminate the risk, okay? So, you review the POAMs, then you also close out any service tickets that are available and there for you to work on. So that's kind of what my day will look like. To include some meetings here or there, to try to do some process improvement, because like I said, there's always a way to make something better. So let's move on to the next question. What are some watch outs for changing your career and get into IT? And she's saying that she has a marketing background. So a lot of people ask me this question all the time. They're moving from one career field to the other. A lot of times, a lot of these career fields, they kind of coincide with each other. So let's say, for instance, if you're a nurse, well, if you're a nurse, then you have an in-depth knowledge of the medical systems there. The medical systems, a lot of them are on the network. So you can play that to your advantage. Make sure you note that in your resume, to show that, hey, look, I dealt with this equipment here. And, if you're responsible for turning it on, you're responsible for maintaining that device. You can list that in there. It's all in your wording, okay? So you just want to make sure you word it properly. So let's look up some of the stuff with marketing. One of the responsibilities of a marketing specialist is to conduct market research to find the answers about consumers' requirements, trends, and habits. So how can that convert into the information technology field? Very simple. A lot of times the IT in information technology, you need to do your research and reference the trends as far as with the security risk, and also what software upgrades are available, and then just, the trends on just how, the users use certain softwares, and if it's functioning right, or if there's one software that's having a lot of issues, so you research the trends as well to see if there's a better solution and a better way for the organization to manage their money and to fulfill the requirements. Another responsibility of a marketing specialist is to brainstorm and develop ideas for creative marketing and campaigns. In the information technology field, and I'm certain this is with any other field, you need to get buy-in from senior management. And the reason why the buy-in is so important is because if your senior management doesn't believe in what you're saying and believe that your plan of action will help the organization, then nobody else is going to believe it. But if you're able to present the information to senior management to get the necessary buy-in, then they can make sure that anybody you need to have staff for you to assist you with this plan, that they can get them there and available to help you. Buy-in is extremely, extremely important. And if you have a marketing background, you're able to come up with creative marketing techniques and creative ways to express your ideas or your management ideas to senior management to get the necessary buy-in, because senior management isn't necessarily very technical savvy. So there has to be creative ways to express to them the need or importance for something such as a business continuity plan or a disaster recovery plan. So in those instances, your marketing skills and capabilities will come into play, and it will really help out, okay? So you should use that. You should make sure on your resume that you list exactly what you do in marketing for your last position. And trust me, like when you have your resume reviewed, which I reviewed several, they look into that. They look into how your previous positions could help them out in the current position that you're applying for. So don't get don't get afraid when you look at a job description and say, well, I can't do that. Well, just submit for the job and see what happens. Don't limit yourself, just do it. So the next question that was asked is, I'd like to get into the cybersecurity boot camps in early spring and be all in, but I don't know what to expect. What would you recommend as the most effective way to stay focused and motivated, since this requires a significant amount of time? I've been to 7 boot camps, and each time I've been to a boot camp, it's been hard. I immersed myself in the information, okay? So what I would recommend is know the why. Why do you want to do this? Okay. Once you figure out the why, figure out what. What will it take for you to accomplish this? How are you going to accomplish it? And do you have a good support system? Okay. The why. Why do you want to do this? Why do you want to get this certification? Okay. If you stick to the why, mine was, I wanted to make more money. Of course, everybody does. And the certification I felt will help me to make more money in my career, okay? The what are you doing this for? I'm doing this for my family. At the time, it was me and my son. My husband, he was deployed, and I wanted to help out more, and I wanted my son to see me be successful, okay? The how I was gonna do it. My husband's deployed, it's just me and my son. The boot camp was for a week long, and if I go to a boot camp that was close to where I live, I could be distracted with taking care of my son, and then with studying. So comes into the next factor, the support system. I was able to drop my son off with my father, and that helped me out a lot. Meaning what I did was I took a boot camp in Atlanta, I got a hotel, and every morning I studied. Went to the class, studied. Came back to the room, studied. Ate something, studied. Went to sleep, studied. Couldn't sleep in the middle of the night, woke up, studied, went back to sleep. I studied. I immersed myself in all of that data and information, okay? The one thing that I don't want you to fall victim of is attending study groups with your peers in the boot camp. That could sometimes hinder you and limit your learning capabilities, okay? So what I mean is, a lot of times when I went to the boot camp, the individuals that did the study groups, they actually ended up failing. When you're in a study group, you study together. Sometimes it helps, sometimes it doesn't. If you do get in a study group, make sure that your peers are on the same level as you. So if they're just learning everything from scratch, that might not be the best person to do a study group with, because more than likely you'll find yourself teaching them the material that you already know and helping them to understand. So make sure that you get a good study group that is on the same level as you. It will also help to get a tutor, someone who's already certified. And they can tell you the stuff that they used and the material that they use, any websites that they use, the practice exams that they use, and for them to pass. And they'll also be able to give you little hints when taking the certification exams. So that is something that I would highly recommend is, getting a tutor, or when you go to the boot camps, you totally immerse yourself in that information, okay? Like I said, with me, in order for me to immerse myself, I had to drop my son off with my father for a week. And then I completely immersed myself in that data and the information. And at the end of the week, I was able to take the certification exam and pass. So that was my recommendation for you. So you need to find out what your motivation is for getting the certification, figure out the why, the what, the how, and make sure that you have a good support system. to help you throughout this process. Okay, I'm always available to help. So you can also ask me any questions that you like. Okay, so that is it for the questions that I was asked. If you have any questions that you want to ask me, please, please, please feel free to ask. I am here. I can either send you an email with the answers to your questions, or I can do a video chat. So you let me know. The email is contact@cyber-misfits.com. And until next time, enjoy your weekend and have a good day.